And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. Again, thanks to you. We're really rocking and rolling. So keep subscribing, keep watching, keep commenting. I want them, and keep sharing with all your friends, because the stupidity does not stop. I mean, think about it. Right now, Trump is on his way to Italy for the funeral of the Pope. And of course, since the teacher has left the classroom, all hell is breaking out. All hell. Let's just talk for a second about dear old Pete Hegseth, who is at the center of yet another Department of Defense debacle. I want to show you real quick a clip from Chris Hayes. Play that clip.
This maintains the posture. If you wait long enough, any controversy will eventually blow over. But the acute dysfunction at the top of the world's most powerful military doesn't seem to be going away, because it's actually getting worse. Today, Politico is reporting that Pete Hegseth, quote, surrounded himself with advisors who quickly turned into vicious rivals for power, whose bitter brawl has now unraveled into revenge power plays, surprise firings, accusations of leaking, and embarrassing headlines that are blowing up the Pentagon, distracting from Trump's agenda, and possibly jeopardizing Hegseth's job. Now, the Defense Department is notoriously nonpartisan, avoids deviating from decorum, so an eruption of infighting is only making Hegseth's stain on the Pentagon worse. Quote, there is a complete meltdown in the building, and this is really reflecting on the secretary's leadership, said a person familiar with the matter. Pete Hegseth has surrounded himself with some people who don't have his interests at heart.
Let me be very clear about something. Pete Hegseth's problems are of his own making. You can't even blame Trump for this one. Why? Well, because this idiot is now, for the second time, the sequel. It's called the sequel of stupidity, where he is now placing operational war plans back on Signal, this time not unfortunately to a journalist, but to his wife, to his brother, to his lawyer, and a dozen other people. So let me just take you back in time, because nobody understands this better than I. In 2017, remember, there were a whole slew of early firings. Trump can't handle this sort of stupidity. It really grates on his nerves. Remember, he fired, for example, his chief of staff, Reince Priebus. He fired Jeff Sessions. He fired Sean Spicer. He fired the mooch. No mistakes were allowed. No mistakes were allowed when I worked for Trump back at the Trump Organization for a decade. This current administration, they are playing into Trump's delusion. And nothing is going to change just other than the date. It's 2025. Who's on the firing block? Well, Lutnick is afraid of Trump, as an example. Hegseth is afraid of also getting fired. They're all running scared. And they're running scared not only because Trump is unhinged, but because, for God's sakes, they're in a situation right now that is untenable. I mean, these folks don't know how to keep a secret. They don't know how to speak to Trump in a manner that doesn't put not just their jobs in jeopardy, but the entire country and our global economy. I mean, I want you to remember, I didn't even tell my wife. Forget about Hegseth talking about this nonsense, operational war plans with his wife. I didn't even share with my wife that I had paid $130,000 to Stormy Daniels' lawyer at the direction of and for the benefit of my boss, my friend, Trump. Hegseth is sharing war plans. Why? What do you think is going to happen here? You think that Hegseth is going to get, I don't know, a little more love from the wife? Maybe he'll get a little more respect from his brother, and God knows why he's sharing this information with his personal attorney. What's going on here? I went to prison. I went to prison for paying somebody on a non-disclosure agreement. This idiot is passing around operational war plans, and there seems to be no accountability. I mean, no mistakes were ever allowed when I worked there. Again, this administration, this is delusion. This is all delusion. And it is beyond ridiculous. So let me go a little bit further here, because we're really sitting in a situation right now where the country is in jeopardy. The country's in jeopardy because our national security is being compromised. Pete Hegseth, now according to some of these people who have it in for him, Pete Hegseth installed a separate internet line. This is so out of character for the Department of Defense, an unsecured internet line, so that he could what? Have signal on his computer? Maybe then he could, I don't know, go, what do they call that? Internet surf for porn? What the hell does this guy have to have his own internet line that is completely unsecure in the Department of Defense? You know, there's so much to try to unravel here. Problem is, none of it makes any sense at all. And when they turn around and they start talking about how the knives are out for them, they are. This I can assure you. And while I'm still far removed from this administration, I still have friends. I still know people who are speaking to people on the inside. The number of people on a daily basis that are shit-talking Pete Hegseth to President Trump, boundless. The number is insane. And it's not just one person, it's a multitude of people. And we don't just see it now that, of course, again, the teacher is away, the students will play. You don't just have Pete Hegseth, who's on the chopping block. We have Howard Lutnick as well. What is Howard Lutnick's mistake? Lutnick's mistake is the fact that he is playing into Trump's delusion on tariffs. Instead of reading the 27 of 29 economists, by the way, you don't even have to read their own papers. There are a multitude of articles that have been written on this. Just read some of the articles to get an understanding on how bad this tariff, this trade war is for America, forgetting about the world, just America, and to our dollar. That is the job of someone like Lutnick, but he's not doing that. He's afraid to explain to Trump, okay, look, let me give you an idea. This is what I would have done. This is what I did for Trump for over, I don't know, a decade and a half. It's why I lasted as long as I did. Because I would say to him, okay, not going to argue with your belief on tariffs. I don't agree with it, but I'm not going to argue. You're the president. What you say goes. But let me pose something to you. Let's turn around and talk about instituting a 145% tariff on China. But let's not jump into it today. Let's give them 90 days to come to the table. Instead of rushing it, instead of trying to drop, just to ram it down their throat, which is not going to work, to the second biggest economy in the world and to a country that produces 80% of the items that we purchase on a day-to-day basis. Why not turn around and say that? Wouldn't that have helped? Let's now turn around and say that was a massive mistake. And as we all know, Trump does not accept accountability. It is always somebody else, which is why there's going to be, just like in 2017, massive amounts of firing relatively soon. Remember, on Saturday, it's Trump's 100th day in office. We're still relatively new into this second administration. And there's going to be a ton of firings going on. First of all, again, the knives are out for one another. Trump can't handle that, and so he just throws people away. Think about even like Elon Musk, who now is self-extricating. Now, of course, there's a time period that he had to either be declared as a government employee or not, and so on. He's leaving. He's leaving because at this point in time, Trump has already put him into the corner. He's in the timeout, so to speak, and he can't handle that. The relationship with Trump has shifted. Trump no longer needs Elon Musk. He doesn't need his money. He doesn't need his influence with X. Doesn't need anything. And Elon Musk isn't going to turn around and to try to stab Trump in the back on X either. Why? Because Trump is the president of the United States. He's controlling all the levers of power. And on any given day, he can cancel any of those contracts that are giving Elon Musk $9 million a day. It's contracts worth into the billions, $9 million a day in government contracts. Elon Musk doesn't want to lose that. That would be the end of SpaceX. It would be the end of his Tesla. It would be the end of everything for him. Not to mention, Trump will ask Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice to open up an investigation into him. Elon Musk isn't playing. There's going to be so many firings that it's going to be reminiscent of 2017. You've heard me make so many predictions in the past, like in 2018 when I testified before the House Oversight Committee, and I said to you 2+ years before it happened, that if Donald Trump loses the election in 2020, that there will never be a peaceful transfer of power. That was just one of many predictions. Unfortunately, and I mean it, unfortunately, my predictions, they come true. And not because I'm clairvoyant or have some special gift. It's only because I know the man better than anyone. And why? Why this is all happening? It's happening because the people, the enablers around him, don't have the guts. They don't have the fortitude to turn around to say to him, Mr. President, what you are doing right now is not just bad for the country, it's bad for you. You brought me here to protect you. You brought me here to do a job. Allow me to do the job. And until they start doing that, the chaos is not going to stop. It's why I keep saying to each of you, share this with a friend. Help to build a community so that we can put a stop to it one way or another. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.